What's up everybody, and welcome to the 2025 Mazda CX-90 PHEV or plug-in hybrid electric vehicle. This is the range-topping Premium Plus trim. It has an MSRP just under $58,000, $1,300 or $1,400 more than the 6-cylinder equipped non-plug-in hybrid. I've been driving this vehicle for the last week, and man, has it come in clutch. I actually got married 2 days ago, and because my wife and I, wow, it sounds weird to say wife, basically planned our own wedding. Well, I should say she planned 99% of it. We had a lot of our own stuff to bring to the wedding venue: decorations, food, drinks, and we had a ton of people to bring as well. I had relatives visiting from China, and I literally just dropped them off at the airport here in San Francisco. And because this is the Premium Plus trim, there's also a middle premium sport trim and the base trim, which is the preferred trim. If you go anything above preferred, it comes with second row captain's chairs, and there's a third row as well, which seats 3. So it's a 7-seater SUV. And I just used every single seat save for one, and we maxed out the trunk with all of their international luggage. So without this car, I would have been pretty screwed. So this car really came in handy for me. As a people hauler over the last week, we actually took it all the way up to Yosemite and back, and it's just been a joy to live with. Unlike some other 7-seater SUVs that I've had on the channel before, I can actually say that this is one I would like to own. It fits in very well with my overall preferences for a vehicle. Even though this is not an enthusiast driver's vehicle by any means, it is easily the best 7-seater SUV in terms of driving dynamics that I've ever driven. This is not my first experience with the CX-90. I've had these on the channel before. I've also reviewed the CX-70, but only the 6-cylinder versions. This is my first experience with the 4-cylinder turbo plug-in hybrid. And as you can see, unfortunately, the battery is now fully depleted. But even just driving around in full gas mode, just using this little 4-cylinder engine, it was perfectly capable of hauling around 6 people and their luggage. So let's talk specs. This is powered by a 2.5-liter turbocharged inline 4. It's an engine that's been used for years now across Mazda's entire lineup, essentially. And this is paired to an electric motor with a 17.8 kilowatt-hour battery. Combined power output is 323 horsepower and 369 pound-feet of torque. And although that horsepower figure is a bit lower than what you get with the higher-end 6-cylinder turbo option, because of that electric torque, the 0 to 60 is actually a tad quicker at 5.9 seconds. That's actually pretty impressive for such a large vehicle. This is a unibody construction SUV, not a body-on-frame, so the towing capacity is only around 5,000 pounds. I forget the exact number, but I'll flash it up on the screen. But of course, the benefit of a unibody construction is that you get excellent ride quality. Unlike Mazda's CX-50 and CX-30, these smaller SUVs in the lineup, the CX-90 rides much nicer. The 30 and 50 use a torsion beam rear axle. This has independent rear suspension. And just cruising along on the freeway, low NVH levels, very little tire and wind noise, soaks up the bumps quite well. It's not going to ride as softly as something like a Toyota Highlander, but give me the ride quality of the CX-90 any day, because the benefit is that the body control is so much better. I remember driving the Highlander around, actually in the same area here, took it to Muir Woods once, and man, just cornering on the freeway at the speed limit around some of those longer bends was a little unnerving in that vehicle, because it was just so softly sprung. There was so much roll. The weight transfer was so dramatic. The CX-90 has just this much tighter feeling about it, where you feel confident taking corners, and that carries over as well to the steering. This is definitely class-leading steering feel. You even get some feedback about the road surface, driving over bumps and reflectors. You get real tangible feedback coming through the wheel. Whether you want that or not in your 5,000-pound SUV is up to you, but I, as an enthusiast, enjoy having a little bit of feedback, a little bit of connectedness even in my daily driver. This powertrain is mated to the 8-speed automatic transmission, the same one found in the 6-cylinder variant. And this might be one of my least favorite parts of the car. Not to say it's a deal breaker by any means, it works perfectly fine for probably most customers. But my issue with it is that at low speed, it exhibits some of the same jerkiness or overly sensitive feeling as the 6-cylinder version. When you go from a dead stop and start rolling forward, it just has this slight jerkiness. It's not smooth. And at first I thought it might be due to the hybrid powertrain, because maybe it just wasn't giving smooth power delivery off the line. But upon doing a bit more research, it seems like the challenge is with the transmission. But outside of that small quibble, I really have no issues or complaints with the driving dynamics of this car. The steering is on the heavier side. Even just backing into a parking spot, for example, it's a little bit more challenging compared to other vehicles in this class to just steer lock to lock with one hand. But if you do appreciate that feeling of heft to the controls, the feeling that you're driving something substantial and not overly boosted in terms of the assistance, then this might be for you. If you're used to the CX-30, CX-50 products, this is very much in line with that. Just much bigger, obviously, more comfortable, more refined. And talking about refinement, let's touch on the interior. It's been no secret from my past reviews that I'm a big fan of the Mazda interior design language in the past few years, and this is essentially the best they have to offer. Very nice, crisp, widescreen infotainment. There is a setting that you can use to put it into touchscreen mode even when you're in CarPlay or Android Auto. Right now I just have it disabled. But the issue here is that it's still a little bit hard to reach because this display is mounted quite far back, and it's so wide that if you're trying to reach anything on this side, it is a little bit of a stretch. But outside of that, I love the overall styling and functionality of this interior. We have physical buttons for HVAC, we have your heated, ventilated seats, your steering wheel heating, 3-zone climate control, of course. It's just dead simple to use, and all the buttons have this nice tactile click. The steering wheel buttons are also very simple. We have your audio and phone settings on the left, your driver aids, cruise control on the right. Mazda has always been great at giving you this minimalistic feel without sacrificing functionality. And I wish more manufacturers would take a leaf out of Mazda's book, because this is just refreshing, honestly. It's a great blend between the digital era and the analog era. And Mazda has done a really, really good job at finding that balance. Let's talk about this powertrain for a second. We're driving in full gas mode. So we have this little 4-cylinder engine pushing this massive 3-row SUV. And honestly, it's fine. As much as the 6-cylinder version on paper sounds like the more enjoyable, smooth, refined, better sounding, perhaps, engine, in reality, it really doesn't matter. Like I mentioned, all of the variants of CX-70 and CX-90 I've driven up until this point have been the 6-cylinder turbo version. Even when you rev that engine out, the engine note isn't particularly inspiring like a BMW straight 6, and I actually found myself slightly underwhelmed by that engine. Yes, it has the smoothness, it has the broad torque curve, but I still wouldn't call it an enthusiastic powertrain. And so in that case, why not just go with the plug-in hybrid? If you do want that ability to go 26 miles EPA rated electric only range, then this works just as well. As I mentioned at the beginning, this is slightly quicker to 60 miles per hour. And if you have the charging infrastructure where you live, in your house, at work perhaps, then this actually makes a lot of sense. Even in full gas mode, this performs just fine. If you're just driving it in everyday conditions, I mean, here, let's downshift. 4th gear. It's perfectly fine. I don't feel like I'm missing out a lot by not having the 6 cylinders. And I actually don't think it's because this 4-cylinder is particularly great, but it's more that the 6-cylinder was just slightly underwhelming. I was expecting something like a B58, but let's be real, BMW has had so many years to refine and improve the 6-cylinder engine formula. Mazda has only made this 6-cylinder for a few years. A couple of other things I want to point out. If you want to charge this battery from 10% to 80%, with a level 1 charger, that'll take you a little over 6.5 miles. And with a level 2 charger, that'll take you a little over an hour and a half. This Premium Plus trim gives us the 12-speaker Bose audio system as standard, and this head-up display. Both of these are actually standard with the Premium Sport trim just below this, but the Premium Plus also gives us the Nappa leather, heated second row seats, and a 360-degree surround view camera. But even if you get the base trim, you get the wireless phone charger as standard, the 3-zone climate control, adaptive cruise with stop and go, and blind spot monitoring. You can also get this in an 8-seat configuration in that lower trim, so the second row becomes a bench seat rather than the captain's chairs. Personally, for a vehicle like this, I'd be a sucker for the nicer upholstery, the 360 cam, and the heated second row, so I'd go Premium Plus without a question. The Premium Sport and Premium Plus also give you the blacked out exterior trim, which I think makes this already excellent looking vehicle even better. From a styling standpoint, this is easily the best $60,000 SUV on sale today. I think the front end is just perfect. It has this wide, aggressive, almost royal look to it without giving you some of the over-styled elements like the German manufacturers. I'm talking about you, BMW and Mercedes. Audi still has their design language more on point in my opinion. The side profile as well looks really nice, and it has a relatively long hood, so it gives it a nice luxury vehicle vibe from the front and side angles. The rear is where I think Mazda could have done a better job. It just looks a little bit awkward with the rear windshield sticking so far back, and I get that that provided more cargo capacity, but from a pure aesthetic standpoint, it's just not my favorite. These seats are super comfortable. I can get them nice and low. I do wish the steering wheel had electric adjustment at this price point. That would have just made it feel even more luxurious, which is of course kind of what Mazda is going for, right? This has budget BMW X5 vibes on paper. I love the on-center steering feel. Just driving on the highway, there's no vagueness in the front end. Again, just comparing it to some other products like the Toyota Highlander, which has this very light off-center steering that almost makes the car feel nervous. Not an issue with the CX-90 and CX-70 at all. There you can kind of see what I'm talking about with the rear end. It's so bulbous, and the taillights have this, I don't know, just slightly awkward look to it, but the rest of the car just looks so good. Oh, he's got the Inline 6. You can see it written on the little emblem just under the side mirrors. But yeah, it's just been an absolute pleasure using this every single day for the last week. It made my wedding day logistics, as well as just driving my extended family around, so much easier. The third row definitely is a bit cramped. If you fit 3 people back there, it's definitely not going to be comfortable for the person in the middle, but it can do it in a pinch. That's a use case that makes perfect sense to me. If you really want to carry around 7 or 8 people comfortably, you're gonna get a minivan. SUVs have never been about third row comfort. Same thing with my dad's old Volvo XC90. Just a quick review of the CX-90 Premium Plus. I actually think this might be the way to go in the lineup. Again, it's only like $1,300 more than the range-topping 6-cylinder version. And even though this has the 4-cylinder engine, it gives up nothing in terms of performance. And engine character with a 6-cylinder, not really its highlight. So why not just pay that little bit extra to get the benefits of the plug-in hybrid system? So big shout out to Mazda for providing this vehicle for a review. Let me know what you think about the plug-in hybrid CX-90. If you've driven both this and the 6-cylinder variant, what are your thoughts? Do you agree that there's really not that much reason to get the 6-cylinder version, unless you want to go for the absolute base model, which you can get at under $40,000? But in the higher trim levels, I actually think this one makes more sense. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments, and I'll see you all in the next one.